That's, while theirs is a little more loose as a communication strategist, I know that for bigger and smaller businesses that you have certain set goals, you definitely need to set down a social media policy and say what is okay and what's not okay. The beautiful thing about the Roger Smith is that pretty much everything's okay because it's about, no, I mean, for more or less because it's about their community. But if you're, you know, let's say an event company, like you had an issue with that, you as an employee cannot go ahead and say, I can give you a free something or something like that. You need to set up the guidelines before you allow your employees to speak on your behalf. While they might not be, you know, RS Christina, but, you know, she might be Christina NYC, and everybody knows that she works for the Roger Smith. So, you know, you got to set that up beforehand, otherwise you fall into those situations.
Yeah, it's definitely become a bigger issue just from the top. I mean, our GM, who's now on Twitter and gets it a little bit more, but he still is skeptical. And we've shown him some business practices, you know, from other companies. Well, about the people saying stuff, and again, we can't control that anyway, you know. So, and most people here, kind of the goal that we tell people is just don't say anything that you wouldn't say to like a reporter or that you wouldn't want publicly stated, you know. And we do encourage, though, our bartenders and my restaurant manager, Yamil, and them, I encourage them to throw stuff like that out there. You know, if it's quiet, I tell Melissa as she builds up an audience, tweet out that, you know, if they come in, that we'll send out free apps to some people or whatever, you know. So it's, the more that they sort of take that ownership to it, it builds up, you know, what we're doing here. So, and that is different for a larger brand. But again, I'd rather see it kind of publicly. I'd rather see people saying whether it's good or bad, whether it's giving something or saying something negative, versus them just going around a corner to a bar and spouting off about it. You know, at least we get to sort of monitor their intentions, and we include them. We show, the best thing we did last week was we showed a bunch of video clips. It dawned on us that although we monitor this stuff all the time and our staff is understanding that when there's a table full of laptops and stuff, what they're doing, what Twitter is, but we showed the whole food and beverage team from the back of the house to the front of the house videos of Chris Brogan talking about our bacon, Justine showing her, you know, videos of her room that got over 300,000 views, to the housekeepers, that they gave them a whole new sense of pride too, understanding that what they do is being seen by way more people than just the ones that trickle through. And you know, Adam and I, even though we tweet about the bacon and stuff, we don't make it. So when Van, our breakfast cook, saw this, you know, he's like, wow. He's like, I'm the guy making that bacon, you know. So, so by giving a sense of pride to everyone too, you know, it does open that up. That they see the way we communicate, and it is a small family run. It's a family. There's 115 employees total here. So, you know, the general dialogue within the company is a little bit easier to handle anyway, and sort of monitor.
So I think we're going to switch gears a little bit here and let Damien talk about location-based applications. And if maybe you could just start by telling the crowd what that means.
Okay, so it's very much so about community, but what I'm going to talk about is a little more about the applications. So it's anything on a mobile app. Primarily I'm going off iPhone because I have an iPhone. I'm sure that some of them do have other, like BlackBerry, Windows Mobile and whatnot. This is more for event planners and your event specifically and how you can use them. So I'm just going to show you a bunch of screenshots, describe them, and then wheel back later and go into them a little more. So this is Foursquare, and like Christina said before, I'm now doing a monthly digital influencer networking party, and I just signed up my event on Foursquare. And I connected it with over here. You see the next screen.
And just to get a sense of how many people in the room are on Foursquare? Okay. And if you're not on Foursquare, do you know what Foursquare is? No, you have no idea. Okay. So
all right.
Let's rewind a little bit.
Okay, so
that even scared me. We jumped right into this.
All right.
Let's go.
So what Foursquare is, it is a mobile app that you can check into places and let other people know where you are by sending it out to Facebook or sending it out to Twitter. The beauty of that is the more people that get on there and you connect with, you have more of a groundswell of the people that you know, and over time you can see where all the people consume events, so I don't have to plan as much. I'll plan certain things like this. I had to plan today to come here, obviously. But, you know, if I check on Foursquare and see, all right, well, what's going on? Who's where? Is somebody nearby me? Am I going to be in that neighborhood? Who's with them? What are they doing? What's the special event? You know, a lot of times I might not even know what's going on, but my friends will let me know, hey, is it a closed event? What can I do? So that's the user side and how users are consuming it for your event. Does that give a good enough description about it? I mean, it uses geolocation tags, so then it pinpoints where you are on a map, and then when you check in there, like you're there now. Well, I believe it was originally conceived for the mobile web, and probably originally somehow on text messaging. It got started on Dodgeball, and then Google bought it out, and there's a whole thing about that. But now they have a iPhone app, they have a Windows mobile app, they have a BlackBerry app, they have a Palm Pre, they have a Droid app, they have, yeah. It's not as full featured because it's basically just about checking in and seeing where your friends are. There's a gaming aspect to it too, as well, to keep you involved, but Facebook's a little more, like you can see what's going on, what's happening, who's doing what, and this is just like who is there,
now,
what they're doing, and then that's
where
it.
you are now.
Yeah.
Right. And it also allows you to connect to your users. So when you click on a user that you are interacting with, it allows you to text them, call them, or email them.
Yeah.
And to respond, and they can respond to you. So you get in touch in real time, essentially, to get answers about where they are. And
So you can see over here that someone, you know, these are all the people that are at the place at one time. You can click through and see exactly who they are. You know, the beauty of this is the more plugged in your users are, the more connected they can be with each other. And
It's showing them users
that have checked in. Yes, of course. No, there was probably like, at the time I did this, maybe like 250 people in the venue, but this is just all the people checking in at once.
And these are your full,
these are all the people who have checked in on Foursquare, not people who
No, those are all the people that have checked into the venue on Foursquare at that moment in time, not ever. There's,
I
cause there's
know
a,
that,
yeah.
but I'm saying it does not edit out only the people you
It's
know.
not up there.
No, it has to be everyone who has checked in.
Should be live.
Whether you know them or not.
Yeah, so that's the beauty of it. So if I don't know them and I see like, oh, I just met you and that's your face and I know your name, I'm gonna click through and you can add on Twitter, add on Facebook, and then add them in the app.
Do you have a screenshot of like the screen that shows where your friends are?
Actually,
Yeah.
you know what? I can do this now as we're doing it. I'll just keep talking. I'll add.
Yeah.
The simplest way to think of Foursquare is an opportunity for you to broadcast to your friends or to Twitter or to Facebook where you are at any point in time. They have a database of venues. So I opened up Foursquare and I walked in, I saw the Roger Smith Hotel, I said, I'm here. And then everybody who's my friend on Foursquare, they want to get notifications of, oh, what, Justin's at the Roger Smith Hotel. But in addition to that, I could also see everybody else who's checked in, which is what you see there, independent of whether or not I'm at that time. So this was that digital something event that Damien did the other night. Clearly it was pretty popular among people there.
It was that wasn't even the top of it, but yeah. No.
So you don't have to be friends explicitly. You can share it with your friends, people who follow you on Twitter, your friends on Facebook, or people who you added as a friend on Foursquare. The difference is there's like a system of notifications. So when one of your friends checks in, you're going to hear about it because you're friends. This view is a little bit different. This is sort of location centric. So this is